Want to talk today about how I put together my radio shows and also my podcast, and that will kind of dovetail into a bit of a review of the Rodecaster mixing board that makes this all happen. And I'll talk about some of the things that I use here that helps put it all together. I've been doing a broadcast radio show, or a couple of them, for over 20 years now. GetConnected is one of them, and also the app show. Tech-related, they're fun. And to do them, in the past, every week, I would go down to the radio station and I would pre-tape them using all of their professional mixing gear, their professional microphones, studios, because I thought, I'm just not going to get the same sound if I do it from home or from the office. Well, I was dead wrong. One of the guys I work with that we brought onto the team, his name's John, he basically said, Mike, you're an idiot. You just need to get the Rodecaster Pro and all your problems will be solved. And yes, he was right. So to put together my podcasts and my radio shows to a professional level, this is the stuff I use. I use the Rodecaster Pro. I also use a microphone from Rode as well, called the NT1A. This is a condenser mic, and we'll talk a bit about microphones in a moment. Of course, headphones, so I can listen into what I'm doing. I also use Audacity software if I need to fandangle any of the audio files after that I've done them. And I also have this handy-dandy ring light from Amazon. I forget the name brand of it, but you can search on Amazon. It's like $50, and basically plugs into a USB charger, and it's got all sorts of different settings as far as the lighting quality, and just again makes my life a whole lot easier, because if I'm doing any video podcasting, I look good. I'm a pasty white guy, and if I don't have this lighting, I look like hell. So let's look at the two different types of mics that are out there. There are dynamic mics and condenser mics. Dynamic mics are fantastic. They're very forgiving about sound that is in the room. So if you've got a lot going on, that's definitely something to look at. I myself prefer the condenser mic. I just find they have a much richer, kind of human, natural sound to them. That being said, you do have to be careful with noise. You're going to have to be in a quiet area that doesn't have a lot going on, because they're much more sensitive and much more likely to pick up all the additional audio that is happening. Again, I went with this one here. It's from Rode, and the nice thing is that it works very well because they actually have a preset for the Rodecaster Pro. This particular unit here with the mic stand, it also came with a pop filter. This is kind of the little filter here that reduces the pop on things like P's and P to make the sound even better. It actually came with a round one. Came with the stand, I think in the $300 price range. Yes, it is a bit of money to spend on a microphone, but your podcast is only as good as the content and the overall production quality, the audio quality. If you've got really crappy audio, people will tend to notice, and it won't be as pleasing. Okay, we also have headphones. Any type of headphones will typically do. So I've just got a cheap pair here because I tend to go through these pretty quickly. Okay, let's get into the main event. This is the Rodecaster Pro. This mixing board has all sorts of great filters and inputs, and it's like a full recording studio all in one. Yes, you can hook it up to your computer and you can use it as a mixing board for any of your favorite audio programs to bring the sound into that. I use, again, Audacity, but I prefer to kind of mix everything on this onto the micro SD card that you would insert into the back of the unit. So let's talk about what this thing can actually give you. So on the back here, we've got the 4 mic XLR inputs. We also have 4 headphone inputs as well, and USB. So this goes from there over to your computer, your PC, or Mac. Of course, we have the power cord, and if you can see that is the micro SD card that you would insert to record all of your favorite audio channels that you are going to be mixing together. And again, what I love about the back, it's super easy. All those inputs are very straightforward. You know you're going to have to plug a microphone in. You know you need headphones for all the different guests. Power button, USB cord, and the micro SD card. Dead simple. Okay, so on the front, this is where all the magic is happening. Where do I start? So you've got 8 channels on this particular mixing board. And this is fantastic because it has levels for every single channel that you will be using. So on the left-hand side here, we've got the 4 mic channels. So you can plug, again, 4 microphones into this unit. Next up, we have the USB channel. And this is fantastic if you're going to be recording Skype or WhatsApp interviews. So this basically controls the input from whatever computer that you have plugged into this. So if I need to have a guest on that is doing a Skype interview, I can basically use this channel. It's using the USB cord that we talked about on the back that's plugged into the computer to get that audio. And again, nice thing is that I can control the levels on that. Next up, we have the phone channel. So you can actually get an audio cable from your phone directly into the back of the Rodecaster unit. And so that's just a regular 3.5-inch jack that you would plug in to the back there, and then you'd have to have the appropriate cord that goes into your smartphone, whether that's an iPhone or a Google phone. And again, that's kind of a direct connect from a phone. The next up one that I use all the time for interviews is the Bluetooth option. And that works with all the smartphones out there again. So I don't always, connect the audio cable up. I guess I would get an even better quality or even cleaner sound. I didn't notice much difference myself, but the Bluetooth makes it super simple. You basically go into your phone, under Bluetooth, search for Bluetooth items, and it will find the Rodecaster, select that, and from that point forward, if you have anyone phoning in for the interview, and that could be anything. It could be a regular call. It could be a Skype call on your phone as well. Anything with audio will basically go through this Bluetooth channel. Next up, this is the fun part. It's got 8 sound pads, and you can actually program these sound pads to do different things. It comes with some preset stuff like a laugh track and a clapping track that you can mix in with your podcast or your radio show as you're doing it. But what I love is that I've also put in my show openings. So for my GetConnected show and my app show, I've got the intros assigned to one of these buttons. So I can basically start off my radio show or podcast with my intro music and then kind of mix in the audio from the guests as we start talking. So that is super, super cool. Also, if you're out on the road, you can also assign pre-recorded interviews to one of these buttons. And again, to get them in here, there's 2 ways. You can either record some audio directly from the microphones and assign it to the button, or you can take it from your computer and basically drop them into the sound buttons here. So very, very cool. Up top here, we've got all the levels for the headphones. So if you've got the guests with you, of course they'll probably want to have their own headphones, especially if you've got phone in or Skype guests. That way they can basically hear what's going on as well, and it allows you to adjust all the level for that. What I do like is that they have an additional headphone input on the front, so that I can just quickly plug in headphones if I just need to have a listen to what I'm recording. And typically, if I am doing a podcast or radio interviews and everyone's in the room and we don't have any other phone guests or Skype guests, they typically won't wear the headphones. I do still, because I want to make sure that all the levels are going in properly here, and if I need to adjust it, I can hear more clearly as the sound is coming in. Of course, the big magic record button here. Right now it's kind of glowing green because it's ready to go. If there is no SD card in, it will glow blue to let you know that you need to put a memory card in so that it can record your favorite stuff. And once you hit it, it goes red to let you know that you are recording. And you can see here on the screen, it's giving me the timer, or counting up, essentially. So overall, this is probably the most simple mixing board I've come across for doing any type of audio that's on the market. And it gives my podcast and radio shows a professional sound and quality. So is this right for you? If you have multiple guests talking at the same time in your studio, whatever that studio might be, your kitchen, or if you've got a special podcast room, definitely have a look at this. Yes, you're gonna have to pay a bit of money. This is around the $800 mark, but having a unit that can basically do everything in just this unit alone without having to hook it into anything else like a computer is invaluable. Of course, it is nice to have the computer as well, but it can basically do everything. You can record your entire show with all your guests, phone-in guests, have all the sounds and intros and pre-recorded segments, and it'll record all onto that SD card. Typically after I finish, because I don't always go through my podcast or radio show in one take. It's an hour long. I'll have different segments and different guests on. I then take that SD card and put it into my computer and use Audacity to go through there and clean up anything that I might need to. So all in, you're looking at about $800 for the Rodecaster Pro. For a decent microphone and, with the stand and pop filter, in the $300 range. A ring light, for about $50, not including computer, you're in it for about $1,200, $1,300. But small price to pay if you're looking to be professional and having to record multiple guests and just taking the hassle out of it. Again, this is the Rodecaster Pro and my setup for recording my podcasts and radio programs.